Welcome again, best wishes for 2023. We are currently at Jets Fitness, 24/7 Fitness in central Phuket, Thailand. If you're ever gonna be visiting Thailand and go to Phuket, go to Patong. That's where most of the tourists are at. And there's this really awesome gym right at the beach. It's called Fitness Hero. It's owned by my boy, Victor. If you're Swedish, you can actually speak with him in your native language as well. Today we are going to be hitting up a push session, first one of the year. I'm going to be running a 5 times a week split up into legs, push, pull, lower, upper. I would want to hit a 6 times per week frequency training of just legs, push, pull, legs, push, pull. But unfortunately, start of the year is very busy, and it's not about how much we can do, but about how well we are able to recover from it. So I'm just going to be running a 5 times split. If you haven't checked out my previous video about my leg workout, make sure to check it out. If you want a good, optimal, scientific workout just like this one, then just copy these. But remember, real gains come from a one-on-one plan. What works for me might not work from you. So if you ever are going to be serious, super serious about your gains, then I recommend for everyone at least once in their life to link up with a good coach. There's a lot of coaches out there. It's hard to find good ones. Make sure you get a good one. It will be extremely helpful. You'll learn a lot. And yeah, you just need to have a personalized plan because we're all living a different lifestyle. And again, like I just said, it's not about how much you can do, but about how well you can recover from it. In order to make sure that that's going to be a perfect fit, also in accordance to how advanced you are, I highly recommend getting a coach. All right, so before we get into our first exercise, we're going to be doing 2 warm-up exercises. First one being the face pull. So how we're going to go about this, I like to hold the ropes between these 2 fingers right here. Grab it like this, thumbs down, get a nice good stretch, contract your scapula before you start to engage, putting with your elbows to the top of your head, like this. Nice light weight, just purely get some blood going over there, warm up. Contract the glutes for some stability, get a nice good stretch again, contract, pull, stretch, contract, pull. Go about like 25 reps on this, just purely lightweight to warm up. The second warm-up exercise is going to be a little bit of tricep extension to get some blood in there. Also because we're gonna eventually be working up to pretty heavy weight on our working sets, I wanna prevent that I'm gonna be having some elbow issues. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna get this rope, gonna pull it like this, all right? Stand here, lightweight, and just push down like this. Side where tricep extension is another way you can do it is doing like that. That's all right as well. I like to just stand like this, maybe grab something for some stability, and just pump through it. Because as you go with light weight, a lot of high reps, you get a bit of blood flow in your tendons. Really nice way to warm those up and prevent getting injured. So about 2 sets of these as well before we hop into our first exercise. Third warm-up variation I want to show you, and that's external shoulder rotation. Preventive one. Often people get some shoulder issues when they're doing a lot of press work. Once you warm up your external rotator cuff, you'll notice that you'll be less likely to run into issues doing your pressing movements. We lowered this one down to about the height in which we'll be having our elbow here against our body. Switch this up with a handle, right? Put your elbow here against your body. You might want to hold something to stabilize and externally rotate out. Again, lightweight, just to warm up. I'm gonna go a little bit lighter. Better you're able to warm it up a little bit, less likely you're going to run into some issues. All right, other side as well. Lovely. There's another variation of this you can do, a bit more hybrid / dynamic, or however you want to call it. Set up at the lowest position, contract my glutes. I go in, pull to here and rotate out. I'll go a little bit heavier already since I warmed up pretty decently. Exhale at the top. Pull your elbow back to here and then just rotate. Now that we're done, we're gonna move into our first exercise of the day. I'm gonna be starting with a very solid plate-loaded chest press machine. I never do any form of bench pressing simply because the range of motion is not full, right? So dumbbell presses or a machine like this, which also comes very narrow, or actually flies and even ring push-ups are much better variation than any type of barbell or Smith barbell movement, simply because one of the main parameters for successful or good hypertrophy type of movement is full range of motion. And barbell work doesn't have that, so that's why we're going to be using this one. Normally though, I start off with dumbbell presses, but this gym unfortunately only has weight up to 35 kg. As a substitution, we're going to be using this bad boy. As we lay down, we're going to create maximum amount of stability by driving force constantly through our legs backwards. So don't like position your feet here, like underneath yourself like a powerlifter would. Don't place them here. Place them slightly more forward and drive backwards, because all the stability is going to end up in the contact points between the bench and your upper back, and from there we'll be able to much better drive up by pushing our biceps together. We're not pushing our hands up. We want to create full range of motion between the chest, and we do that by bringing the biceps together rather than just pressing up. This or this is very different. Warm-up set. From here I'm going to be driving backwards, right? I'm going to be pushing constantly, create tension like this, go down, first working sets out of 2, only 2 working sets, make them count, get the intensity in there, hit failure with good quality, so nicely controlled negative, push backwards through the legs and push the biceps together. Second exercise, the incline dumbbell press, you'll see me use a pretty steep angle, as you can see. Reason being is when I sit down, myself and other people, we really tend to arch. So we pin our shoulders a little bit back, and the more we arch, the more we eliminate shoulder involvement, but there's also a downside, right? So by doing this, you kind of create a horizontal position in your chest again, which counters the incline setup that you're trying to do, which as a result makes sure you don't hit enough of those upper pecs. So that's why I'm getting a bit more of an incline variation, so it counters my setup. Combine that with good controlled work, really nice controlled negatives, really well focused isolation, bringing those biceps together on the way up. I have figure 8 straps attached to my wrist. Figure 8 straps are actually for power lifters, deadlifters. To my understanding, it's allowed to be used during competition, which gives them a bit of an extra edge on their lift off, because they don't fully have to hold the weight. They can just kind of have it laying in their fingers as it's attached to the figure 8 strap. But I'm using them now just to add an extra 5 kg to it. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, all right? We're 10 years deep now, so that's why we're using a bit of a higher weight. If you're just starting out, just focus on form first. Focus on all the cues, focus on the tempo, focus on pressing again through the legs, bringing your biceps together. Quality first, and then slowly start to increment, as that's called, by increasing the weight or the reps and / or reps, so you can get that progressive overload in. intensity, more time efficient, more gains in fewer time, much better. The higher the intensity, the more quality, the better the result will be. You're never building up to a pyramid set or breaking it down, or no, you just build up to a working set, you smash it, and you make sure you hit progressive overdose, all right? With the tempo stuff. Right, last chest movement of today is going to be a high to low cable fly. This one is a short position bias, which means that in a shortened position is going to be the toughest part. First one was a long position bias, second one as well. Also a combination of both. Up, mid, low. Perfect, couldn't be better. Oh, lovely. All right, second and last set of today's chest work.
It's magic.
Come down. Nice stretch. Track the glutes. Biceps to each other. We're now gonna go into our second last exercise, actually superset combinations. Unfortunately on this one, I'll be facing away from the camera because I just have to do them like this right here. I'll be using these figure 8 straps. I'll use them as wristbands, so I eliminate grip and I increase my mind-muscle connection on this movement. So my right wrist goes through the left cable, vice versa on the other one. We contract our glutes, squeeze. We start from this position and we pull up. 21, 22, 23. We wait for about 30 seconds until we move into the other variation, which is a straight arm, side, cross body, lateral raise. We don't raise up to here, raise up higher. This is more increased range of motion rather than this. Like, this is much more efficient than here. There's still much more shortened position there in a side delt. Wait a little bit, give it like 30 seconds. Breathe in a bit through the nose, out through the mouth. Constantly contract your glutes again for stability and keep your legs straight. So don't have any knee bend, so you can start to kind of cheat your way through the reps. Only quality reps. If you can't get a rep with full or perfect form, that's just kind of where you stop. That's failure. Failure with perfect form. And you write your sets and reps down in a gym, always. You keep track of your progress. And also the same with sleep metrics, other recovery metrics, nutrition, so that when you're not reaching your goals, you can evaluate and backtrack. Where is it going wrong? Where can I improve? And you go from there. Squeeze the glutes again.
It's magic.
As you are pulling, you want to constantly keep your arms straight. So imagine that you kind of have to push 2 walls away from you. So you want to push the weight out. Same with side lateral raises with dumbbells. You kind of want to be doing the same thing. So imagine you have to push away a wall to keep your arms straight at all times. The second and last set on the superset of the Y raises with the side laterals. Let's go. Right, now we wait. Last exercise today is going to be shrugs for the traps. 4 sets of these today because I'm really trying to bring them up and emphasizing my workouts on those. You kind of just at some point want to test like how much volume can you get without seeing your progress slow down, right? So with my traps, luckily I've noticed that I can hit quite a fair bit of volume on those. So I'm right around like 14 working sets on those a week, which still allows me to progress just as good as if I would kind of decrease the volume. I'm going for a narrow positioning over here simply because you want, like with exercise selection, one of the factors is following biomechanically the length of the fibers. So when it comes to this one or when it comes to traps, you kind of want to prefer a bit of a narrow variation, because if you look into how biomechanically the trap fibers are set up, that's a better way of following them than picking a wider angle. If you don't have a narrow position like this one, then obviously you can go with a wide variation. You might want to use straps on these because again, you only want the muscle you're targeting to be the only limiting factor within the movement. And that probably means on these that you're gonna have to utilize straps as your grip might feel a bit faster. Once again, gonna be doing this one facing the station. So I want to follow the fibers. Normally I would use normal straps on these, but since I forgot to take mine home last time I was at the gym doing a pool workout actually, my normal straps got kind of stolen obviously, so now I only have these ones left, but they suit just fine. Contract the glutes, shrug up, hold 2 seconds at the top and go down. Breathe out at the top as well. Normally I finish up this workout in 50 minutes without recording. I used to always be in the gym for like 2-3 hours sometimes when I was in university, but that's kind of a moment when you have all the time in the world. As we evolve, as we grow older, we don't have that time anymore. So like I also explained in the previous video, I'm never really longer in than an hour. There's multiple stuff that needs to be done, multiple goals that need to be achieved, other priorities in life, as other people often say. So we can't just be at the gym all the time. Is also suboptimal, as it's not really effective, because it's not about how much you can do, but about how well you can recover from it. Exactly. You can try these workouts, but if it works for me, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's also going to be working for you, because we're all different individuals, we all have different lifestyles, we have body parts that are not as developed for every individual, different level of advancedness, if that's a word, I just made that word up. Depending on all these variables, everyone's plan is going to have to be different. That's why it doesn't make sense to buy some cookery, cutlery product or some program from anyone online, your favorite influencer. It doesn't make sense to do any of that. It's really all about balance and again, how well you can recover from it. Now, if you're serious about making gains, if you're stuck for quite some time, if you're maybe new in the gym and you don't really know how to get started, you don't want to injure yourself, because as you see, the intensity is quite high. If you train with that intensity,
Well, my battery died there. Most guys lack the intensity needed in the gym. One of the main reasons being is they are afraid to get injured because they're not sure if they're doing things the right way. So they might feel some pain next day or the days after. Not being sure if they're doing the right intensity is what's keeping them back from having the right intensity. And the right intensity, the ability to resist, is super crucial when trying to make progress at the gym. And not only in the gym, if you want to be a man, you need to go through some real shit. You need to go through some trauma, internalize it, use it, and that's what turns you into a man. If you never really had hard times, then you will never really be a good man. Any man who's ever had an easy life is going to fall and collapse when adversity starts to face him at some point. The whole point of being a man, the whole point of masculinity is the ability to resist. And if you're having an easy life, then the best way to gain the ability to resist is by pushing your ass off in the gym. This is the whole point. Build your body up in the gym, build up your masculinity. Want to become a man? Start in the gym.